That's a Yoruba greeting. You should say, Ṣé àlàáfíà ni. I'm gonna try to give you a little bit of background really fast. I'm probably the only one on this panel who only speaks English, and only a little Yoruba, ceremonial Yoruba, I call it. Okay, that means I know my prayers, I can greet you, I can do those things that allow me to move through ceremony. Because as an African born in America, I probably came to this religion for more cultural reasons than for religious reasons. I was raised apostolic, okay? I was saved, sanctified, the whole deal, but I am a foster child. And in my seeking to find myself and to find an identity, I liked the fact that the people who looked like me were Africans, okay? That was the face that matched mine. And so I sought to become that African person, and the first part of that was changing my clothes and deciding how I wanted to look physically, and then moving away from, I think, my teaching from the Bible about how people became black, being taught that I am this way, that I look like this, that I'm this color because of a curse, okay, did not sit well with me at 15, okay? It hurt my feelings. It added to what I had lived through in the world outside of my spiritual self. And so I sought to move away from a religion that told me that me and everyone who looked like me came about because of a curse, okay? And I'm not saying that to say anything negative about Christianity, but it was for me a place where I totally lost identity. So as a teenager, I looked into several religions where most of the people looked like me. That was the rationale. I looked at Elijah Muhammad's Muslims. I looked at the Akan. I looked at, and finally came to Yoruba after joining a cultural-based institution called the East, which is no longer in existence, just the people still exist. And several of the people there, including the person who is my godmother, your godmother is your spiritual leader, like would be equal to your pastor at your church. When she was initiated, it was interesting to me. Not interesting, go do it, but interesting, let me stand over here and watch you do whatever that is you're doing and calling it Yoruba. Until I don't even know, I don't know if I should say felt the calling, but felt the need to be something, okay? I was one of those people that Liza talked about who said they were spiritual but not religious, okay? I had run screaming from my foster mother's church because the people there just didn't have enough spirit. They didn't seem to have what we call Iwapele, which is good character. And I wanted to be somewhere where I could feel that. And so when I came to Yoruba, I was at first taken a little aback because it is a religion for the African Americans that has come to us in the arms of Cubans and Puerto Ricans, people who could speak Spanish. And I don't speak Spanish. And so even to this day, and I've been in the religion about 30 years, I've been initiated for 23, even to this day, there are ceremonies that I attend, and when I don't speak Spanish, people look at me like, you can't really be Yoruba. I am of that group of people that Liza talked about this morning, who is seeking to not have the Catholic saints attached to the Yoruba Orishas. I'm that person. I'm in that group of people. And there are lots of African Americans who, though we are very grateful, we pay homage to, and in our direct line, our direct Orisha line, like one person made someone else, initiated someone else, we have those Cubans, okay? But we are, thanks to my grandfather in Ocha, Lloyd Weaver, pulling away from the idea that we need to mask or cloak or include, whichever word you feel, Catholic saints to talk about Orisha. So we might not talk about St. Lazaro's with Babalu. Okay, we might not talk about Guadalupe with Oya. Okay, I have 4 children. Okay, all of whom are initiated. Okay, my husband is initiated, and I am one of those people who own and run an Ocha house. Okay, where you can come and use my space to conduct ceremonies. When I was going to be 16 in the religion, I said to, and that's a big number, that's an important number in the Yoruba religion, 16, there's 16 Odu. Odu meaning the sacred, and I'm sure Tony's gonna talk some more about this. I don't even know if Tony remembers. He is actually, when I was initiated, and they have that special reading that tells you about the things in your life and talks about what you should do and how your future's gonna go. That was done by someone who spoke only Spanish, and he was actually the interpreter of my time. Okay, I don't know if he remembers that, but I do, of course. And as the interpreter of my time, I'm sure he does not remember that, but my time said that I was going to do some of the things that at that point I laughed hysterically in my mind, like, no way. I'm not doing any of this initiating other people. I'm not, I just want this for me. I need this for my own spiritual development. I need to feel closer to the earth, to the world, to my Africanness. And so that's why I'm doing this. All lies. Orisha governs our head, Mofi says what happens, and so that is why I guess we own this house where people can come now and conduct their initiations, okay? I come to you very tired because a lot of what Liza talked about has just happened at my house. My husband, who is the youngest of all of us in the family who initiated, he came later to this religion, just had his Ocha birthday, which is the ceremony, which is the anniversary of the date he was initiated. During that same time, those special drummings that she talked about, he was the 19th. My youngest daughter was giving one of those very special drummings on the 20th for my godmother, so that was a big, giant, humongous ceremony. And the week before, 2 very small children, 1 6 and 1 7, were initiated at my home. So it's been 2 weeks of, okay, I guess I'm really in this, okay? I think for me, what holds me close to Orisha, holds me in this religion, is both the saying and the individualness of it. There is the saying, okay? Everybody recognizes the earth and the respect for everything that exists, poles and rocks and trees and birds and water and subway trains, okay? Things that we both can and have created as humans, and things that we have no control over creating, like mountains, okay? But also the individualness of that thing called Ita, the thing where you are seated and Orisha is speaking directly to you about you, and how even if someone sitting next to you had the exact same letters, had the exact same reading, it would not, the person reading you would not say the exact same thing, because it is governed by your Ori, by your head, by what is happening with you. And I think as a foster child, all of that fed into helping me create an identity. Okay, so I know how I got here. How I stayed, I have no idea. Orisha. Okay. We believe in God, okay? Olodumare. There's several, as I listen to you speak, really? I listened for things that were the same, because I now am looking across religions a lot to see things that match and that are the same. When she talked about Legba, we have Elegba, who is the Orisha for us that opens the door, who sits at the crossroads. But he is also the Orisha who takes our messages, our prayers, our speaking to Olofi, to Olodumare. Because Elegba, no matter what language you're speaking in, yes, this is universal. If you were Japanese and you were praying in your native tongue, Elegba would still carry that message so that it would be understood. Okay, he makes sure that everybody can get to God. Okay, and all of those things that you hear us talk about, Orisha, Liza explained it a little different, but we think about God being so all-encompassing that to pray directly to a Lofi would not get your message there as fast as praying to the aspect of a Lofi that you are directly seeking help for. For instance, the Orisha Oko is an Orisha that deals with farming and growth and production and the planting of seeds and the nourishment of them. And so if I were a farmer, I would probably have very massive altars to Orisha Oko. But everything in this religion has more than one interpretation. It is not only the physical growth of flowers and trees and crops, but growth of things in your life. So if I wanted to grow as an intellectual or as a teacher or as an owner of property or whatever it is, I would also speak to Orisha Oko, okay, and that aspect of him. We've talked a lot about the Orisha of love. For us, that's Oshun. Okay, every female who decides they want to be Yoruba wants to be an Oshun. Okay, everybody wants to be an Oshun. Oshun is the one who, when people think of Aphrodite or any other Orisha like that, she's the one with the lovely gold clothes on, and she's carrying a mirror and she's fanning herself, and she deals with the sweet water of the river. All the females want to be an Oshun. When I came into this religion, they told me I should learn about Oya, Yansa. And I am initiated to Yansa, to Oya. Those are her names. And I had no idea. You know, we have what we call the Fab Five. That's the inside Europe. by transport, and I guess Tony will talk more about this, so the religion was, you know, when those enslaved Africans were brought to all of the different Caribbean islands and to America, they brought what they could of this religion. And so when you were initiated in the homeland, you received your head Orisha, whichever Orisha claimed your head. Because those people came together, we now, upon initiation, receive what I call the Fab Five, okay? Which would be Alegba, Obatala, Oshun, Yemonya, and Shango. You didn't hear Oya in there, did you? Mm-hmm. Okay, so they don't get Oya. And there were not many Oya priests when I was initiated. Tony's wife was one. She was one of the elder Oyas that I was privileged to meet. But there weren't many, and there were definitely not many who were African American. Okay? I thought they were making it up. It was like, okay, I never heard of this Orisha. Nobody in the house, okay, that congregation in which I was initiated, had ever initiated an Oya. That is not my godmother, not her godfather before her, not his godmother before that. No one in that lineage had ever initiated an Oya. So I'm like, here I am again, othered. Okay? It was not a good feeling at first until I began to get this reception. People were like, oh yeah, oh my goodness, oh yeah, we're gonna have a yeah. I'm like, okay, yay! I don't know enough about this TV show, but yay! I get to be this. I went to Brazil. I've gone to Brazil several times with my godmother. We have actually adopted a candomblé house, temple in Brazil that we call our sister house. Okay? And when I went to Brazil, I had not yet been initiated the first time I went. And they were excited when my godmother said, yes, she's going to be initiated to Yansa. They were like, oh my goodness. And everybody was jumping up and down. We're trying to salute.
It's okay. I'm sorry. But we have maybe just a couple minutes.
Okay.
We can share with people a little bit about Oya.
I'm getting ready to now. Very good. So when I heard that joy, I knew that I needed to know what is this Orisha that they're getting into initiated to. Yansa is considered the mother of nine. She is the Orisha who is in charge of the wind, the air. She is considered the Orisha that works with Obatala to bring people to life. She is said to breathe into the newborn their first breath and to take away your breath when you are leaving. She controls the gate to the cemetery. If you have a relative who's very sick and you are worried about them, we actually pray to Oya to open her gates and allow them to come in. Okay, that it is time. which I almost cried when I think about that I had to do that prayer for my Ajubona, who is like your second godmother, okay, the person who physically takes care of you when you're initiated, who takes care of your clothing and bathes you and everything. When she was extremely sick for many weeks and months and almost a year, we prayed and did Ebo, okay, and she explained Ebo, for her to stay here with us. And when we realized that she was beyond staying, it was then necessary to pray to Oya, the Orisha who opens the gates to the cemetery, and ask her, please take her gently into her realm. She is also a very fierce Oya. I found out that she is a warrior, that she is the mother of disguise, she is said. And we have tales, just like you have Bible stories and tales, there exist those what we call apatokes that explain how the Orishas interact with each other and their relationship one to another. And so Oya is said to be one of, in fact, his third wives of Shango, who is known as Shango all over the world. He only has one name, Shango. Okay, Oya is said to be one of his wives who rides alongside him when he goes into war. Shango and Oya make thunder and lightning. So that sound, when you hear it, you say, Hekwehe Yansa. Okay, that is a praise, and we have one for all of the Orishas. But when it is thundering and lightning, we say, Kabosile, that's for Shango, and Hekwehe Yansa. Those are praises for those Orishas that are now displaying their physical powers on the earth. Oya is also the Orisha of cloaking, of change, of disguise. She wears a mask. One of her stories, and I'll say this very quickly, I know I'm out of time, is that when she was married to Shango, she used to come in each morning with lots of meat that she had somehow hunted and caught. And Shango was very curious about where is this female getting, and incidentally, you do not, like she was saying about her mother possessing, being possessed by a male spirit, you do not have to be the Orisha that governs your head, does not have to match the gender that you are, doesn't necessarily match you sexually. I happen to have a female Orisha, but my husband also has a female Orisha. He's a Yamoya. My son has a female Orisha. He is an Oshun. Okay? And he was very worried, like she said, being in Oshun, that he was 11 when he was initiated. And all he could think about is, if they crown me Oshun, am I going to be suddenly turned gay? Well, I told him, well, you know, being gay is not a bad thing, but you're not suddenly going to turn into anything. Oshun has claimed your head because that's who you are, okay? But in this story of Oya, it is said that each evening she would cover herself with the skin of a buffalo. And that is how she is able to go out and hunt the way she did, and then remove that skin and go home each morning to Shango. Okay? And when you initiate an Oya, there are, part of the ceremony is that there are 2 buffalo horns that are given to the initiate that are spiritual and that are packed with some of the herbs that Liza was speaking of, and that must stay with your spiritual items forever, because that symbolizes that story. As a teacher, all of my children, of course, know I'm a priest of Orisha. It is not a secret. I do not seek to hide it. You won't always recognize in Yoruba because they're not all dressed in African clothes. They don't have to be. I usually am, because I'm both seeking to be closer to Africa and seeking to practice this religion. I always have one of my lekis, that's these, each of them belong to a particular Orisha, and they're always outside. They are usually for other people inside. I was told in my ta that I can wear them outside and should, okay? I am usually dressed in white, okay? And that also was in my ta. That is not necessarily for everyone. And that is because I tend to be someone who picks up things, and everything sticks to me, and things don't stick as much if I'm dressed in white. I do wear other colors sometimes, but mostly white. And my kids, you know, imagine being a teacher. Every day a teacher has on white clothes. It's like, Miss Nia, that your favorite color? And I have to let them know, no, my favorite color is actually purple. And I explain to them why I'm wearing white most of the time, okay? They understand a lot about being Yoruba. They understand when a teacher gets some special herb and starts sprinkling it around the classroom, which I do in the public school when I was still there. I am now a consultant. And they said, what are you doing? I said, well, it's kind of feeling heavy in here right now, and I need to lighten the air, okay? And they are very used to it. The parents, regardless of their particular religion, became used to it. I will be a Yoruba forever, okay? Many African Americans identify themselves as Lukumi, meaning that they are not necessarily practicing the religion as it was handed to them from Cuba, but taking out the saints, and that's the Lukumi version. But I want to always use the word Yoruba because it attaches me directly to the continent of Africa and to Yoruba land, Nigeria, where the Igbos and the Yorubas and to Benin, to that area. And so I'm always going to do that, okay? And I guess I'll stop now. That should be time. Yes? Yes.